Yeah, making a video. Yay. No. Yeah, fuck that shit. Okay, gratex. Annoying. So I even watched 3/4 of his video, I suppose, somewhere around there. Talking about his most recent bicycle calamity, and somehow had to put an efilist spin on it. Surely the implication in part of what he's saying is, look how tough I am. I don't mind the pain. You know, like none of us have had. Like somehow he's in some sort of contest, and he thinks he's the grander, pain-tolerant individual, and I just find that laughable. Yeah, so go ahead. You want to have the contest? Let's go through all of our whole lives, and we'll see who's done what or had to endure the most debilitating discomforts. But anyway, it's just stupid. You know, really, if you want me to hammer a nail through my arm, I can do it. I mean, it's really, you know, those kind of miseries are kind of the minor ones anyway. You know, that's the irony. It's sort of like the death thing. You know, when people die in a spectacular way, somehow people think it's a more important death. You know, if you get run over by a drunk driver, fuck you. But yeah, get killed in a plane crash, especially when it crashes in the ocean. And man, we'll show up every year and throw flowers and think that you were the kick-ass human being. So it's just kind of bullshit, right? And it's just sort of the same way with misery. People think the only kind of misery there is, oh, I broke my leg. I mean, it is a bad misery. I haven't actually broken a leg. I broke a finger. I broke ribs. That wasn't any good. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, we just know that, okay, this is how pain works. Pain is bothersome, and then it subsides, and then you find it, you know, you live with it. Back pain. Ooh, that's not a good one. But anyway, I'm just saying simple things like migraine headaches are probably much worse in terms of what I would trade. If I had to trade to, you know, one thing to avoid another thing, yeah, I'd take a lot of physical injuries to avoid headaches, nausea. There's lots of sensations and feelings that really suck, you know, that aren't related to, you know, incursions of your tissue. You know, frankly, if life was just physical pains, like having a you know, a bad toe or a bad broken arm or something like that, yeah, I'd be a lot less concerned. But it's the fact that there are these other miseries, the miseries that go with being debilitated, you know, the organ failure kind of discomforts and whatnot that are the ones I find a lot more frightening, intimidating, worrisome. The ones I find that are the real deal breakers in terms of this life slop meaning anything. But anyway, the real point I wanted to get to was, you know, some people have, like, I've fallen, you know, because, you know, I did have a stroke and I'm getting older, and so yeah, sometimes I fall down, which is stupid, but I do it. You know, because I'm a little sloppy too, I'm a little reckless, go, not really looking where I'm going sometimes. So anyway, I've tripped on things and just missed, you know, getting, you know, impaled on a pointy stick or something. I mean, where it just went right by my shoulder or right by my, you know, the side of my chest, and it just so could have easily been one of those, you know, just horrible moments. And you know, there's two reactions to that. You know, you can react and just have like a celebration or something, or you can kind of be humbled by it and realize how easily, you know, how easy it is for everything just to go away, everything just disappear, everything turn to shit. I mean, real hard shit. And just how lucky you are to feel as good as you do and to have the health that you have, because you're just that one little mistake and you're paralyzed, or you're brain damaged, or you know, you chronic problem of some kind. And yeah, we're so close to that. We're, you know, just a few miscalculations, just one miscalculation. So much of your life is built on this good luck thing, this good fortune of, you know, beneficial genetics or some other thing that keeps you at a distance to the real hard shit. And yeah, so that would be the other reaction, is this humbling realization of just how dicey the game is. It's way too dicey for a rational brain to accept. Too much risk. How you doing? Hey, pup. Yeah, black and white dog. My dog was black and white. Anyway, sad. Anyway, so that to me is the more mature, reasonable reaction than to go through some sort of nonsense like, oh, the thrill of it. That's why people are thrill seekers, is because, wow, it was so cool not dying but almost dying. And I don't get a boner when I hear a police siren or a fire truck or an ambulance. I know people do, but it just doesn't do anything for me that's good. That kind of excitement is excitement I can live without, thank you very much. So I don't get you people, and that's just the truth. But anyway, that's enough said. Anyway, it's but that's the thing. You can have different reactions to the circumstances, but I think the intelligent reaction is to realize just how lucky you are, and appreciate. And appreciate that. If you weren't lucky, you might not be thinking or saying the same shit you're saying. Yeah. Anyway, till next time. And such. A little bit of an add-on video. So I'm watching the rest of this gratex video, and it's really annoying. This is getting to the heart of this efilism thought. And he's just off subject again. I don't know why people have to keep turning this into a commentary on how to live life. Some sort of psychology crap. Like how to get the most out of your personal life. The conversation is about whether you should play God and create a new living thing. Whether that's an advisable behavior. Whether you can justify taking the risk that it involves with new life forms. That's the subject. Whether life is fundamentally, we know we're in it. We know we're fighting it. But why would I impose it on something? Why would I make something alive, especially an animal? Why would I live, again, I'll ask the question, why would I live a life I wouldn't live? I wouldn't volunteer to live most people's lives. I wouldn't, even if I was in a boring purgatory, and it wasn't like really horrible, but it was just like kind of annoying, I still wouldn't go live their life to get out of the purgatory. I mean, so why should we defend behavior and subjecting things to risks we wouldn't subject ourselves to? I wouldn't buy a lottery ticket to get ALS or to die over a 15-year period in a nursing home. I wouldn't enter that lottery. I don't care what you offer me. I wouldn't do it. If, realistically, if there was some way to increase my chances of certain ones of these fates, I wouldn't exchange something. I wouldn't buy it. So anyway.
All that kind of shit. But what would be the point in doing that? It's wallowing in that dread and misery. Or basing my life on it, or basing conclusions about the universe on it.
So he's saying that, so you have life experience, you go through experiences, you contemplate your death, you contemplate whether this means something, and he's somehow saying you shouldn't base your life on those philosophical ponders. And because when you ponder those things, you realize, well, yeah, I've been really lucky. I've gotten off cheap and easy, and I certainly wouldn't want to be one of these retards. I certainly wouldn't want to be some poor sucker born in Iran who wastes most of his life, even if he's lucky, having to live a stupid philosophy. And he might come to the realization that most of his life or half his life was a waste because of it.
Isn't going to change that fate. You know, the wallowing on the possibility of death, the likely.
Yeah, well, see, exactly. You're so used to playing games with the truth of what life is that you made an error. Yeah, you're not going to possibly die. You're going to definitely die, and the question is how and when. These are important questions. And no one's arguing that you should wallow in any of this. I don't care what you wallow in. You want to spend your whole life rooting for whatever, some footballer team, it's okay with me, as long as the issue isn't whether or not you should procreate. And this is the subject. The subject is whether you should help promote or finance or in some way engage in this perpetuation of the experiment. Whether you should be pulling straws for the next generation. And I'm saying logically you shouldn't. And I have to defend the reason why you shouldn't by pointing out that life is dangerous, that it has these negative elements in it. So, do you realistically think if tomorrow we pass efilism and we guarantee that in 200 years we're just going to wind the whole thing down just as I want and everything will be fine? Do you think I'm going to waste my time having conversations on the internet about all of this stuff? That I'm going to wallow in any of this stuff? There's not a chance. I'll do how-to videos like, I don't know, what do I know how to do? Okay, how to masturbate? I don't know, some kind of how-to videos. Something like that, right? That's what I'll do. I'll talk about physics because, it'll be fun. But I'm not going to, this isn't a subject for any other reason than because you people pose a threat. And you need to be talked out of the threat you pose. And the only way you can talk you out of it is to sit there in some way say, look, this is why there's a stop sign. It's because, see, this is what car accidents look like. And I mean, I haven't even done it that overtly. Some people have. In terms of taking images and putting them with but I mean, I don't really want people to have to do it that way. I don't want them to have to wallow in some kind of suffering to understand. I want them just to logically recognize that the only thing motivating them is some kind of selfish crap, some sort of projection, some sort of sense that somehow they need to do this, but it isn't a rational sense. It isn't logical. It's just a personal thing. And they should get over that. They shouldn't be imposing their personal thing on something else.
The inevitability of death, right, and pain and suffering isn't going to change that death and pain and suffering.
Yeah. Well, again, it's not the subject. Well, like I said, we're not advocating that somehow you rescue me. I'm not saying send me immunity. Get me out, save me. That's not the argument here. The argument is what are you subjecting the future to? And why are you doing it? And for what rational, possible purpose could it possibly have? And the argument is there isn't any. There isn't any good reason. Fuck. And that's why this subject's important. And you're just pretending it doesn't matter. Well, of course it matters, idiot. That's how I got here. Is because no one talked about it.
Still going to happen. So if that's the case, then why not choose to not wallow in it and instead take other perspectives?
Whatever that. So I'm not going to play the rest. It's just more and more of the same here. He's giving people. I'm not giving advice, but he's giving advice. He's telling people this is how they should think. And who's arguing against that? Who's arguing that anybody should spend any minutes lamenting, grieving, pitying, feeling bad about? All of those things mean the Holocaust should be forgotten, completely forgotten. If there isn't that important thing that you have to learn from it. Never again. See, you can't make it never again if you forget about it. You can't prevent something hard or harsh from happening if you forget about them, if you ignore them, if you turn your eyes and turn your brain and focus your brain on entertaining yourself. Well, then you're not going to do the work that needs to get done. Duh. I mean, this is too simple. So anyway, this is just so off subject. It's just so offensive that you put the word efilism in here to do a video about why people shouldn't be mopey or whiny. Well, that's not the subject, shithead. We're explaining why people shouldn't be reckless, lazy, stupid procreators. How they should have a fucking excuse for imposing on something else, playing fucking God. They should be at least able to write a fucking paragraph explaining how they're doing something because it's necessary, not because they're a selfish son of a bitch. Yeah, that's not asking too fucking much, you stupid fuck. Okay, anyway, you're probably stupider than your second bicycle accident. Will you learn anything from it? Probably not, because that's not what you do, right? You don't learn anything. You stupid asshole. Anyway, enough. It's pitiful. I hit the fucking button. Hit it again. Hit it again, Gary.